Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again, introducing you to my Modern Warfare 3 Veteran Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Black Tuesday from Act 1, and this is, believe it or not, the first sequence of the game, and in my opinion, this is the hardest part of the game. This very first road, hardest part of the game. You can do this road, you can do this game. I think when I first played this, I died maybe 10 times at the very start, and I absolutely shit my pants because I thought the game was going to be this hard all the way through. And it isn't. This start bit, for some reason, if you get a little bit too aggressive, you will get insta-killed extremely quickly. It seems very, very random, and it's an interesting thing because this game is... I think there's infinite spawns on this one. I'm not too sure. I didn't have too much, of time to test it. But one good theory I found throughout my playthroughs of this game on Veteran is if you push the checkpoints and you push forward as quickly as you can, you will force enemies to despawn, you will force checkpoints to trigger, and you will effectively make the game easier by being a suicidal lunatic. And a lot of the times it doesn't work, or you'll die maybe 4 or 5 times before it does work. But for every time it does work, it's going to save you a whole bunch of time, and this road is no different. You'll notice I use my flashbangs to stun everybody, I push forward into a piece of cover, and then I eke my way out and kill anybody that I can see. Do not stray too far from cover when you're this close to people, because you will get lit up really, really quickly. But those grenades you saw me use are called 9-bangers, and they're really useful flashbang grenades. They don't last too long, but they will stop people who see them from shooting you for enough time for you to push forward or to kill them. So I would definitely say use them in situations you get stuck in. Try to ration them as best you can until you start struggling, then try using them. And they're super useful, but they only replenish every so often through the game, so you want to use them sparingly as possible. Bear in mind as well, when you get near these cars, if you don't blow them up, they will blow you up when they go up, and it's almost a insta-kill every single time it happens. It's one of the most annoying parts of the game with the barrels and everything. There's your first checkpoint. Before then, if you die, you will have to do that entire start section again, which is kind of annoying, but your secondary is a grenade launcher that you can use, and it's really useful. There is no part of this level where you will need to use it, but use it when you get bogged down by a ton of enemies. And this section right now, I throw out a flashbang and I run into here so that I don't have to deal with the bullshit that happens in a minute. When I first played here, they say, "Quick, come in this room, dude, you're lagging behind." And there was 5 guys shooting at me, and I'm cleaning them up, and more guys spawned. I cleaned them up, more guys spawned, and it made no sense. So the easiest way to push this section is to get in here as fast as possible, as efficiently as you can, and just ignore the enemies. It's not the way I enjoy playing, but it's definitely the easiest solution to that particular problem. And be careful when you're following your team, because they'll say things like, "Come on, move up, get to so-and-so," and if you do, there might be enemies that they've missed, and the enemies will shit-stomp you, and you'll be back to a checkpoint that might not be as good as you were expecting. So just be aware of that. But this is an interesting room moving up here, because as soon as you go through that door, there's those 2 fellas that I just took care of, and there's a bunch of guys across this little chasm here, so don't push around this corner too aggressively, or you'll get instantly killed. It does happen. And just get ready to be a little patient when it comes to deaths, because there's times when I get shot 20 times and don't die, and times when I get shot 2 times and die. There doesn't seem to be any real, correlation or any middle ground. It just seems to be pretty strange. But this is nowhere near as hard as Black Ops was. This is nowhere near as hard as Call of Duty 4 was. So you're gonna definitely have a lot more fun with it. But this is what everybody's been waiting for, all the Call of Duty fanboys and fans alike, and here it is, and wow, what an interesting game this one is. Modern Warfare 2, to me, had a lot of good things about it. It looked beautiful, it was running on a fantastic new engine, it introduced a lot of cool stuff, but the campaign itself was a little bit short, and it was just constantly insane. It was constantly, pulling golf clubs out of people's assholes and just throwing clouds into the sky which turned into magic rainbows and unicorns and all sorts of nonsense. Every 5 minutes somebody was dying, someone was moving in slow motion, or something was blowing up. And don't get me wrong, I do enjoy that kind of thing, but it made it feel very detached. This campaign doesn't quite have those ridiculous moments, but it does have a bunch of decently paced sequences. One thing I will say is, though, This game does not look half as pretty as what Modern Warfare 2 does. This game is very grey, and as dull as people thought Black Ops looked, I think this probably looks duller, because it's... Whatever the people that left Infinity Ward did with these games to make the colours pop, to make things have that level of quality, this game doesn't quite reach it. It's very nice and it reaches a higher level, but it doesn't hit that same peak that the people that left that studio hit before. So, as a whole, the campaign is fun, it's enjoyable, but it's very rough around the edges. It doesn't have that level of finesse that the second one did. My opinion, obviously, you might disagree, but you've got to admit there is a definite difference in development teams here, because there's a major discrepancy between them. And this firefight here can be quite challenging. I like to get as far away from that centre as I can and move up this left flank. What I would definitely recommend new players to do if you're wanting to tackle this on Veteran and you're new to the series, change your controls to tactical. It might seem insane at first, especially if you play the multiplayer a lot, because the panic knifing is so much easier when it's on the analog, but with tactical layout, if you push the analog in that you aim with, you will lay down on the floor prone. And this game, a key to surviving is knowing when to lay down, and as soon as you get shot, if you can get good at hitting the floor and laying down, you will stay alive a hell of a lot longer than you will any other way, because cover is not reliable. Enemies will shoot through cover, enemies will shoot you from awkward directions. You need to get good at laying behind things you know you stand a chance of surviving. As soon as you can get good at that, and into that mentality, the better off you will be as a player. But that room is quite challenging, and when you get to here, if you push up to this little concrete block, there's going to be a bunch of guys that'll spawn in front of you. And this is another one of those bits where there seems to be a load of dudes and they want you to push it really quickly, but if you push it quickly, you spend more time on your belly getting shot than you would if you stay back like I'm about to show you. And the best way I found to do this is just pick people off from these lovely vantage points, use the cover, and as you push into this courtyard, up there on those court steps, there is going to be a bunch of guys. So I fire the grenade launcher to try and clear out as many as I can, and as soon as I move into this next area, I'm going to run up those stairs and I'm going to use those like Carpathian columns for cover. And up here you have a height advantage, your entire team's in front of you, and they seem to want to shoot at your team and not shoot at you. So you'll notice I'm not getting lit up. I can pick my shots, I can, you know, act accordingly for the situation. And if anybody's wondering why I'm using the AK, I absolutely hate holographic sights on games. Modern Warfares are a lot better for them. They're not too bad on these, but when it comes to holographics and ACOGs, I'm not the biggest fans. I prefer red dots and iron sights, so throughout this video there's going to be awkward moments where I'm running around trying to pick up a better gun, because I don't like what I've been outfitted with, and you'll just have to bear with that. It's a little bit of a neurosis that I have. And situational awareness is key for any first-person shooter, but so much so when you play these on Veteran. There's a lot of things that blow up, and anything that blows up will kill you very quickly. It just seems to be the moral of the story. And there's a lot of things that blow up, so try and put yourself behind cover that you know is reliable, and try and stay away from your team, as far away from your team as much as you possibly can, because your team influence you on this game a lot more than they used to. It's a little bit like Battlefield 3, and there is a time where I've had shootouts with people I've been, you know, doing really well for about 6 to 7 minutes, and then I've gone to lay down or back up and a guy has been wedging me into cover and I can't move because his fat ass is stuck in the way, and I've died because of it. And then when you come back on, you unload a full clip into your teammate and you fail because there's no friendly fire, so you can't even get a nice bit of mercy on him, or a nice bit of revenge, should I say, a nice mercy killing, which is frustrating. But your team are a pain in the ass. They will do nothing but hinder you. Stay as far away from them as you can. Give them a cheeky knife every so often if you can. It'll make you feel better. I know it did me. And this room here is a little challenging because there's a lot of cover, there's a lot of dudes in it, and it's not, you can never be too sure where they're going to come from. And when you push up, a guy might stand up and instantly kill you. If that happens, the checkpoint's only outside this room, so it's not too far back, but it's definitely frustrating. So just hit the deck as often as you can. As soon as you get shot, try and find a surface that is, you know, a good level so you can get your gun over it, but you're not exposing too much of your body. A technique known as clipping on the multiplayer, if you've ever done it. And just try and be as defensively aggressive as you can. And I know that's probably an oxymoron, but this, more than any other Call of Duty, if you can confidently push forward in situations where you may be, you know, seconds away from death, you will have a lot of success. and the game's not long enough for it to get completely exhausted, you know, when it comes to dying. The most I died on this game was at the start, on that very first road, and I died maybe 9 to 10 times. So, if that's a nice little, you know, ballpark for your expectations, it tells you that this is not a Call of Duty 4 veteran, this is not a Call of Duty 2 veteran, and World at War is another one everybody says is extremely difficult, so this is not that, but you will still get your shit pushed in if you try and do things too irrationally. So, when you bump up onto this bit, always crouch here, don't run up onto those next stairs. You can do it, I've done it myself, but this is just a smarter position. Don't ask me why I hip-fired that, I should have aimed, but I was, you know, happy-go-lucky at the time. And just little, you know, first-person shooter 101 rules. Burst fire your guns because the flat auto hits the recoil up. If you can control the recoil, feel free to do that. And just pick up the guns you're comfortable with. There are certain weapons on this game that I would say never pick up, and there are certain weapons that I would say definitely try and pick up. For instance, shotguns are definitely not what you want to be using, because you've got to get too close, and the closer you get, the quicker you die. It's literally that simple. These guys will rush you every time. There's 3 of them. Pick them off before you advance, or they will own you in the mouth. And a gun that I would recommend picking up, if you can, is the Scar. The Scar is absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to use it on the multiplayer, because it is just a beast. And you barely get it in this game. I found it maybe 2 times, and there's one level that you start with it. But aside from that, it's AKs and various other things like along those lines. M4s, AKs, that kind of stuff. But if you can find a Scar, prioritize it, because it's really good. This section here, as you push up towards this jammer, there's going to be a bunch of guys behind the sandbags and a bunch of guys that I'm killing with this noob tube device, because it's very simple, and this is effectively the end of the level, so you don't have to worry about saving the ammo. Do not rush past these barrels or those air conditioning units too quickly, or the enemies will pop up and kill you, because there's always one cheeky bastard that likes to sit behind cover as if he's a professional cover sitter, and it gets annoying. But as soon as you've cleared it out, stick on the thermite, detonate the thermite, and then go over to this part and lay down where I lay down. You can lay down anywhere, I suppose. This is just the place I like to pick. You'll hit a checkpoint, there'll be some talking, and then just watch the bottom right hand part of your screen. As soon as you get the ability to use the Predator missile, start calling those bad boys in, and acclimatise yourself back to using Predators if you've not played Modern Warfare in quite some time. Because to my left, directly across the street, is 2 low roofs with a bunch of dudes on them, and if you try and shoot them, you'll probably die because there's a lot of them. They gain a lot of focus fire on your position, and all you have to do is drop a bunch of guided missiles on them. So there's the Universal Briefcase of Doom. Here's the Predator missile, and as usual, if you want to boost it, if you know how to pilot them, press the trigger. It's exactly the same as it was on Modern Warfare 2, and I don't know how many of these you get to use on this section, but just have fun, cause as soon as you get that option to use the Predator, I spam the hell out of it. I don't even bother shooting when I can just drop that on them. And you're going to get warned about a hind in a moment, and all you have to do is guide your Predator to the hind, and it'll go down in one shot, just like that, nice and simple. And after this is where it gets a little bit more bullshit, and don't even ask me what just happened then. I was just like, what? Who shot me? And it was obviously an explosion, but I didn't see a grenade indicator, I didn't see anything. And this bit's kind of bullshit. You've got to run to this chopper, but you can only get on it once that douchebag's got on it, so don't run too quickly like I did, or you may get clipped. And as soon as you're on here, this is random. You can instantly die now and have no control over it. It is fucking stupid. And it makes no sense. It's almost physically impossible to shoot them all perfectly because the swaying gun, the recoil, and there's a lot of them, and sometimes they'll just kill you because they'll hit you instead of missing you. You have no control over it. Do not get frustrated. It's not your fault. It's the game. It's stupid. It's broken. And like you just saw then for my run when I got the recording, I didn't even really get shot too much. I had maybe 3 or 4 deaths on that section, and this section here is the exact same. It's not your fault. After you take down these 2 Harriers, one will turn up at the side of the building site, and sometimes, because he just feels like it, he will instantly kill you. There's nothing you can do. You've just got to play this bullshit all over again. So, as soon as these turn up, hit them with the Gatling gun as much as you can, with the minigun, sorry. As soon as he says good work, it means you've took them out, and this is the bullshit one right now. So, you've took those 2 guys down, And there's your building site, and we're waiting on this dude because he goes, oh, there's no more left. Never say that. Never ever say there's no more left, because somebody's going to turn up and shit on your cereal. Just like that guy did. So he comes up, and now all you have to do is shoot him. Note, didn't even hurt me, didn't even do anything. I can show you guys on another video, if anybody asks for it, of me coming up. As soon as he turned up, I was instantly died, and I had a lovely war quote, and I didn't even know what had happened, because this part, for whatever reason, every so often will decide to fuck you. Nothing you can do, don't get frustrated, it's just, I don't know, wizards, elves, gnomes, you know, the gods. It's something strange, and I don't like it. But once you've taken him down, the chopper will start to get some significant problems. You'll start spiraling, and everything will kick off. And I do believe that this is pretty much the end of the first real level. And as I've mentioned, it's not too bad, this campaign. There's some moments that if you rush them too much, or if you get too impatient, you will get killed quite a lot. There's a few moments like this where your death is completely out of your control, and you'll get a couple of them because the game wants to, you know, anally rape you every so often. But that aside, I think you'll have fun with it. And if you're watching this and you're on the fence on whether or not to play it, I would definitely say check it out, because it's a fun romp while it lasts. But it only lasts about 5 hours, and if you're not interested in the multiplayer, you know, 44 quid for a game is fucking ridiculous if you ask me, especially if you're not going to try the multiplayer. But thanks for watching, guys, and you take care now.